everybody! How's it going? Can you hear me alright? Is the audio okay? I hope that you're all doing well. So, we're gonna be working on the Keeper still. Pretty happy with how it's going so far, but the camera, I really tried to get it to capture the correct skin tone. I have no idea why it shows up this color. It is purple, it looks blue. No idea what's going on. I'm gonna have to just get a new camera, but this is where we're at, and we're gonna do a little bit more work on the back of this like cloak thing today. I did want to... Hey Mark, how's it going? I did want to show you I am working on some Mornfang pack as well. These are the first ones that I've done in like 5 years. So I'm really happy with how it's looking so far. Ogres, I think for me, are like the most fun to paint. I think because they don't have like too much going on, and I just really like the colors that I've picked for my army. So it'll be really interesting for me to go back and like compare to the Mornfang that I did 5 years ago and see how much I've improved. But I'm really happy with how these guys are turning out so far, and I just think they're super cute. They're so cute! Okay. I didn't advertise the stream today because just a number of women in the community have been sharing that they have had an increase in like misogynistic comments and stuff, and I am no exception. I've also had a bit of an influx in the misogynistic comments, and I just don't want to deal with that today. So I didn't advertise it, but for all the people that decided to come and hang out, I love you all. You are the best. Okay, so all the weird sharing out of the way. I'm gonna mix up. First off, I'm gonna look and see what the jade looks like just on the color that I've got, but I feel like I'm gonna need to add a bit of black to it. But I'm just gonna go ahead and throw some of this in the palette, and like I use these until there's nothing left. So like I just grab a brush and I like dig that paint out of the bottom. This is the first generation bottle of Pro Acryl. I have another one in the wings ready to go, but I just like to not waste anything. So I'm gonna go in and pull some of this jade out, like quite a bit of jade, because we've got a lot of glazing and stuff to do, and that actually uses quite a bit of paint. So pull a bunch of this out, maybe a little more actually, not that much. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. I'm just gonna throw it in my palette, and then we'll see if I need to mix. I think I'll need to mix, but we'll try it first. Okay. So this is the first generation paint, so it's been like it's dried. It's dried a little bit. So it's probably the consistency of Citadel paints now. But when you buy it new, it's like almost perfectly thinned. But I just don't like to waste stuff, so so I'm gonna pick a high point on the cloak, probably just down here. And see, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to mix a bit of black. We're gonna have to do a layer before we do straight jade, so you go in and mix a little bit of black in. I should wait till it dries. This is like my rule, but I've used this paint quite a bit, so this one doesn't actually oxidize too bad. It'll get a little bit darker, but we still need like a transitional color between this and this. Hey, Mr. Fish, how's it going? Happy Monday. Hello, Pezler the Polychromatic. I have to say the whole name because I just love it so much. So the Warmistress and I kind of feel like we're coming down with a cold or something. Yeah. So I don't think that we're planning on going anywhere today. Yeah, you might even call in sick tomorrow. Okay, so if I'm sniffly and stuff, I know I'm usually sniffly on stream, but if I'm more sniffly than usual, that's why. Okay, so I just mixed just a dollop of black in with all of that jade. That's like a scientific term, a dollop. Just to tone it down a little bit because this color is beautifully pigmented and gorgeous, but we need a bit of a transitional color. So I'm gonna throw this on as the transitional color and see what it looks like when it's dry. Maybe even a little bit more. A little bit more black. Just a little. Just a little. It's like you have to just add little increments at a time. Okay, so just a little more. 1.5 squashes equals $1. Exactly. Mark gets it. So, the Warhammer 40k explained, shorts, for some reason, like ones from 6 months ago, have started to take off. Like, I don't understand it at all. And so I made those 6 months ago, and now because I used guard as an example, everybody's like, that's not actually accurate, actually. And I just, like, I can't deal with it. Y'all, I can't. It's just too much. So I've not been paying too much attention to the comments. Also, like, the influx. Like, I literally got, like a comment that was like, ew, woman, immediate pass, or something like that. And I was like, what is going on? Like, why is our society like this? And, like, why is our community like this? Like, I'm sure it's actually in every sort of fandom, but it's just, like, weird. I thought things were getting better, and now I feel like they're getting worse again. That's imperial dollops. Metric dollops are equivalent to 10 dabs. I like that you guys are just running with my nonsense. Just please run with my nonsense. So there is still a little bit of texture on this cloak, but I think once it's done and I add a clear coat, I don't think anybody's gonna notice, so we're just going with it. I just drop in to say thanks for the shorts. Really good. Aw, thank you so much, Russell. So I am a very visual learner, and on top of that I have, like, reading comprehension issues when it comes to rules. Like, they just don't make sense to me. So I thought, you know, maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe there's other people out there who just, like, need a little extra visual help, or, like, need to see it with an example. And it turns out that that's the case. There's people who are like me and who are maybe needing a little bit of an alternative way to learn the rules. So it's been actually really really nice to do the shorts because while there is like an influx of weird comments, like weird anti-women comments, the majority of the feedback is really nice and wholesome, and um, that's why I make these little videos, is because I just want to help people, and I want to like foster a really nice little community of cool people. Hey Zan, how's it going? I come for the short stay for the dollops. Imperial dollops of paint, correct? I don't even watch the shorts. I stopped playing 40k a while back, but I still enjoy Tanya's content. I wanted to catch one of these streams for a while, but I always used to work on Mondays. Aw. Well, I'm so glad that you did stop in. I know Monday is like a weird day to actually stream, but I don't get proper days off. Monday is the closest thing that I get to a proper day off. Just because of the nature of my job. But you know, we do what we can when we can. Maybe it's not optimal, but it's better than not doing it. A community of cool people? What am I doing here? Zan, you're like the coolest of cool people. I wish that I could get the contrast and the colors right on this camera. It's just making me so upset. I literally fiddled with every single like option to see if I could figure it out, but no. I swear it is purple. You know what? I'll post a picture after today's session into the Warhammer or the YouTube community page, and then y'all can see like the actual colors. Although my new phone is also a bit of a challenge. It takes amazing pictures, but the white balance is also always kind of off on it. So might take a while to like, why is this color so hard to get? It's purple. It's so frustrating. I'm a noob and find yours the best. World is full of odd people who get off on not being nice. It's true. Aw, well thank you so much, Russell. I'm glad that you could stop in and say hello. The world is full of really not nice people, and sometimes, so I'm like a pretty private person, and which is funny because I stream all the time and stuff, but it would be really quite easy for me to just like step back and stop doing content. But I do feel the same. I feel like there's a lot of like kind of not nice people out there, and because of that I feel like there's probably a lot of people who feel like they don't necessarily fit in or feel kind of alone, because I felt really alone in my hobby for the first few years, because the community back then, 10 years ago, was real not nice to women. So I just never really shared, and I felt super alone, and I don't want anybody else to feel that way. So I stick around. Although I will say that I share less and less these days. Somebody actually sent me a message and was like, have you been painting anything recently? I'm like, yeah, I paint all the time. Oh, I didn't see any posts. I was like, oh man, do I really post so infrequently now? People think I've given up on the hobby? That's on my Instagram, by the way. If people are on Instagram and you don't give me a follow, like, I do mostly post my painted stuff there. It looks purple to you? Is it like a blue purple, or is it like a violet purple? Because it's actually a violet purple. But I'll post a picture after the stream so you all can see what I'm talking about. Because like this is not the color that it is at all. It's funny because even though they don't want women in the hobby, they still commission paint their army. No, they don't. I don't think that those people who make those kind of comments, I don't even think that they take part in the hobby. I feel like they might read books, like they might read the lore books, but I have a really hard time believing that they paint. Maybe they paint. They definitely aren't playing games though. I just don't think people who would make those kind of comments, I just don't think that they have like the social skills to be able to like maintain a presence in a gaming community. I mean, unless the community all feels the same way, I don't know. That's just my gut feeling. I mean, I don't have receipts for that or anything. It's just that's just what my heart says. It was one of the things that drove me away from 40K. A lot of really cool people, but too much toxicity. Looks violet. Maybe it's just my monitor. I don't know. It could be my monitor. Violets are blue. They're not blue, though. Honestly cannot fathom your level of patience with your painting. I'm over here like the Tootsie Pop Owl. Base highlight wash. Three layers. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, though. Mark, like... I think I just have, like... I have a style that I really like, and I'm committed to it, and that's why... it takes me so long to paint stuff, is because it really kind of relies on, like, clean delineation between colors. I'm not gonna lie though, it is a little bit difficult to paint this on stream just because the whole thing is assembled. So, I'm doing my best. It's hard to get in like all the nooks and crannies. I'm starting to see the depth on the cloak that I want. Finally. Also, like, the first highlights always go really slow, and then with each, like, progressive highlight, it goes faster because you're painting less surface area. Also, I just find it, like, really zen to sort of take my time. Like, edge highlighting, it's, like, the perfect way to meditate for me. The Warmistress just, like, cringes. The Warmistress over there is the speed painter. Not I. I am the opposite of speed painter. Although I'm getting better. I think I found like a nice balance between getting it done and getting it done the way that I want it to be done. Because for a long time I would just like not finish anything. Okay, so this side is a lot harder to work around just because there's this like lasso and this tail. Um, so I'm gonna try my best not to touch any part that's already done. Although I do need to do touch-ups on the tail already. I got some of this like bright green on the bottom. You never know. They might be playing. They might be. There's a big difference between spouting off hate in the anonymity of the internet and saying that to someone's face. Oh, I just wish somebody would say it to my face. Come say it to my face. Are you saying that poem lied to me? Yes, for the sake of rhyming, I think it did lie. With how wild the world is. I was brought in as a co-organizer for our local Escalation League Season 2, and our first big debate was due to bigotry in the community. Oof. Oof, well, I hope you guys got sorted. I abuse contrast paint because I'm lazy and a crummy painter. No. No, there's no shame in finding your method and sticking to it. Correct. I don't think that you can abuse contrast. I also don't believe in cheating. I just believe in like having tools in your toolbox. Finally finished my Fullmentaris Terminator last week. Took longer than I wanted, but he turned out great. Already working on the second one. The gold trim takes longer than anything. Ugh. Trim is something I have a really hard time committing to. Yeah, my first army was Chaos Space Marines, and the trim broke me. I had to get rid of them. Helldrake. Yeah, the Helldrake definitely broke me. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Sounds like jealousy to me with the guys. All the guys I play with want more ladies in the hobby. I think that is like the majority of people want there to be more diversity, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it's really hard to get women to want to like step out of the internet and go into a gaming space because of some of the messages that we get. Like, it's really hard to convince women that it's different out there in the real world. It is, but it's really hard to convince women of that. Tanya doesn't speed paint unless there's a Warhammer hero to crush. I am competitive. Like, if I can win, I want to win. So I've lost one and I won one. We have a rather large chunk of LGBTQ plus members, and so had to make it clear in an announcement that bigotry will not be tolerated and is instant removal. Positive gatekeeping, if you will. So I have come to the conclusion that there's gatekeeping, which is stopping people from even starting in the first place, and then there's bouncing, which is like where you've let people in, you've let them experience, and they've shown that they can't be a nice person, in which case you call the bouncer and you remove them. That's the difference. That's one of the things I love about the Infinity community. People like that tend to get chased out pretty quick. I kind of wish that I would actually like sit down and like learn the crunchiness of Infinity, because I love cyberpunk as a genre, and the models are amazing, but I don't know. The Warmistress says it's crunchy, and if he says it's crunchy, then it's gonna be way too crunchy for me. I like that bouncer analogy, right? Because, like, at a certain point, once people have proven what they're all about, like, it's not gatekeeping, right? And I will bounce people. I will bounce them out of my community. We've sort of like come together in my Age of Sigmar community and like found a common understanding about our gaming philosophy and what is and isn't important to us as gamers. And there's some people in the 40k community who want to make the jump to Age of Sigmar, and we just know based off how they conduct themselves in the 40k arena that well, I also know because some of them have said some pretty rotten things to me. Unintentionally, it's like a little bit foot in mouth, I think. But we've just sort of, know that their philosophy isn't going to vibe with the good thing that we've got going on. I just don't believe in taking like tournament winning lists to like teaching games. I don't believe in that. It's like that kind of thing. And we're just like super casual playing Age of Sigmar right now, so it's not in that case like maybe it is gatekeeping, but at the same time it's kind of bouncing because I've experienced the people that. And then like some people in the group have also said that like their comments, because they make like weird comments, have made them feel uncomfortable, and that's enough. A lot of us actually like left playing 40k just because it was like not the friendly vibe that we were kind of looking for. I'm not saying that about like all 40k communities, it's just like the one locally here. And like they're nice people, it's just like the gaming philosophy just doesn't jive. Wow. One person isn't nice, but it's a topic for another day, I guess. Infinity models are fantastic, agreed. But sadly, there are just too many SKUs, agreed. And yes, super crunchy. It is crunchy, but the crunchiness usually makes sense. There's a lot of WTF moments. Yeah, I think for me, I'm just like a casual gamer now, and like trying so hard to make 40k work for me for so long. I just don't want to try hard anymore. Like, I just need a break. I just need a casual break. I just need like beer and pretzels games with friends. Okay. I think I'm happy with that level there. So I'm going to go ahead and... Wow, that actually went really fast. So I'm going to go ahead and do the inside. And I don't know if you can tell, but I didn't bring the highlights up as much on the inside because I want it to look like it's darker, and I really want the attention to be drawn like up this way. So I'm probably not going to do as much highlights on the inside here as well, just to keep the focal point like up here. I feel part of why I was brought in was because of my ability to tell some they are an awful person without being an awful person. I need business cards. Thankfully, my local group doesn't really have any bigotry in it. It's just like competitive weirdness. And like, I don't think anybody actually wants to be friends in that 40k group. Like, and that's like a huge part of it for me. I need like to know that there's a chance that I could be friends with the person across the table from me in my like just like casual games, right? And that's why the Age of Sigmar crew is really cool, is because like now a lot of us are playing Dungeons and Dragons together and just like really enjoy each other's company, and it's just wholesome AF. My buddy was having a hard time learning his army, found out his friends were playing stuff like Celestine in a 500-point game. I told him, you're their learning fodder, they aren't teaching you anything. It's true, but at the same time, if you do that to a new player, you're not learning anything. like if you so this is my philosophy, so just take what you want from it. Um, if you're a player who constantly wants to learn and get better, which is me, that's the way that I look at it, and you bring these like really competitive lists to play somebody who is either like casual or new or whatever, and you stomp them, you haven't learned anything yourself. You certainly haven't taught them anything. Well, maybe you have, I don't know. That's sort of based off how they've sort of see the game. But you haven't learned anything. Like, if you want to learn something, a really good thing to do is to take a less powerful list than what they have, and then it teaches you to play the game with like less optimal tools. So then when you go and you play competitively, in my opinion, and you do bring super hardcore lists against other super hardcore players, then you will have more experience on how to win when you're on the back foot, if that makes sense. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. Beer and Pretzels games are great. I love Blood Bowl for that reason. I did try Blood Bowl. Visually, it doesn't appeal to me. The models are great, but I need terrain and stuff. That was another debate. Some are casual, some are competitive, and some are combinations of the two. It's definitely tricky to please everyone. You can't. You can't please everyone. And that's okay. And if people feel like their way of playing is not being catered to, there's nothing stopping them from going and running their own events. It's hard to make that distinction in some games. What I consider to be casual is very different from what a lot of the guys at the LGS considered casual. Agreed. That is what was going on in my 40k group as well. I'm gonna lurk for a bit. Oh, thanks, Dan. And that's why having like the pre-game talk is really important, and like none of us do it well, myself included. I can admit that. Although my Age of Sigmar crew does know now, like, if I'm like, hey, anybody want to fight Kragnos? It means, like, bring your best stuff. Bring your A game. But they also know if they don't want to do that, then they can just not play me. But that's from months of having games and conversations, and even conversations outside of the game itself, like just talking about what's important to us as gamers and as a community. It's actually taken a lot of soul searching for me to just like admit that it's okay if I don't play 40k. And the reason why, I mean, that might sound like ridiculous. Probably does sound ridiculous. But it's like I'm on a fairly large podcast about Warhammer 40k, and I'm kind of known for Warhammer 40k, quote, known. And so it kind of was like a huge part of my identity for years, and so putting it aside, it was really difficult for me to make that decision. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still on that 40k podcast, so I still kind of have to keep up on what's happening in 40k, but I cannot tell you at all what's going on in the meta anymore. I can't tell you who's doing well. I can't tell you who's like the ones to watch anymore, like, but I do try to keep up with like what's coming out stuff. I did buy the guard stuff. Well, actually my husband bought me the guard stuff for my birthday. Thank you. I'll put it together soon.
Or I will, one of the two.
Yeah. That's what you could get me for Christmas, is you could put it all together for me.
I got you put together army.
Yay! Because I don't want to. I just want to paint it. Look looks like I was included on that invite by mistake. Are you kind of like doing this? Yes, yes. uh, really do love the shorts. Thank you, Rossel. No BS, not boring, informative, and fun. Sorry to hear how you get treated. It's really sad and disappointing. Most of the people are really lovely like yourself, so I don't give the bad comments that much of a that much real estate in my mind, if that makes sense. I just can't have those conversations. I'm too uncomfortable with it. So I play games where the game itself establishes. Infinity is crunchy and competitive. Blood Bowl is goofy and casual. Yeah, I guess you have to be somewhat disagreeable in order to have the conversations, but I just think it's better to make sure, like, 3 hours in today's day is a lot of time to be spent playing a game that, like, you want to make sure that you're having a good time. You know what I mean? So I think that the conversations are important, and I don't think most people have a problem with it. Like, just being like, hey, you want to play this Saturday? Okay, like, what kind of game do you want to have? It might throw people off if they've never had that conversation before. Um, but it's a good skill. It's a good skill. Even at, like, tournaments and stuff, I think it's a good skill to have, to be like, hey, like, what kind of game do you want? Some people at tournaments, like myself, are just like, I'm just happy to be included. But some people really do wanna try hard, and they really do want to win, and I think having an understanding is good. Just held my breath that entire time. After Night Haunt, I would think Guard would be easy peasy. Night Haunt is actually the easiest army that I've ever painted. Takes like no time at all. So what the Warmister has been doing for me is he's been Zenithal priming the Night Haunt, so black underneath and then the red on top, so like I spend almost no time doing the actual bed sheets themselves, because I just like clean up the transitions between the black and the red, add a couple highlights, and then it's done. It's actually really fast. Blood Bowl is pretty tempting. I just don't have time to pick up even a goofy casual game. I really want to paint those Amazons. I think they look amazing. But, I mean, at the same time, I have so much stuff for the armies that I actually play that I kind of feel like I should be prioritizing my time on those. As I sit here painting a model for my husband. But you're going to play with it, right? It's not going to sit in a case?
No.
Cool. That's the deal. I have to see it on the table.
Probably running head to head with Be'lakor and a Great Unclean One.
Okay. I'm down with that. The idea we had for Season 2 is splitting the league due to size and allowing folks to identify themselves as playing for fun or trying to create a tournament army. I like that, actually. I like that. Then if you're too tough for casual or having a bad time in competitive, you can swap star systems. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. That's a good idea. Well, what we did is we had like our like fun tournament that was like weird and random. So sometimes like playing around with weird formats, like the super competitive people oftentimes will forego anything that has a random element to it. And honestly, like, I think competitive players are really easy to keep happy. Like, you give competitive players, like, a place to play at GT pack missions, and I feel like they're just happy. Although the terrain has to be good. Like, the terrain has to be functional. If it's not, then they won't be happy, but that's usually pretty easy to accommodate. Well, that took no time at all. Okay, we're gonna put a little bit more jade back into what I already mixed for the next highlight. Look at us go. I totally hear you. It's about knowing what you want and letting the other person know. That can be hard. Yeah, I feel like our society has sort of like told us that it's not okay to like ask for the things that we need or we want, but it totally is okay. And if somebody has a problem with that, that's usually on them, right? Communicating effectively is, I just never see that as being a bad thing at all. Amazons are such amazing models. I want that for my next team, right? Like, they're gorgeous. Like, there's that one with, like, the snake. So cool. Yeah, if they say that they don't want to play, that can feel like rejection, and that feels really bad. But at the same time, like, it's not a reflection on you as a person if they don't want to play that way. It's just that their philosophy is, like, their gaming philosophy is not aligning with yours, and that's okay. There's other people out there who probably do align with your gaming philosophy. And most people are, like, super chill and able to accommodate different ways of playing. I sort of I consider myself casual, but I can play competitively and I can attempt to play narratively, poorly. But I'm usually pretty good at like accommodating other people if I know what it is that they want. That's part of the problem. To me, casual is take what looks fun and play it. To my opponent, casual might mean something completely different. Exactly. So that's why words like casual, narrative, competitive, and all of that, that's not good enough, right? But saying to somebody, I want to take what I think looks cool and play a game with it, that tells me a lot more than like casual or narrative. You know what I mean? That means, oh, I'm also going to take what looks cool. I mean, that's what I usually do anyway, but you know what I mean? Relationship goals. I'll paint your minis, but you have to play with them. Yeah, relationship goals. Yeah. Segmentum Tournamenti and Segmentum Beer and Pretzalis. I love it. Random can be so much fun. I'm playing in an Infinity tournament in February where the TO is generating random lists for everyone to play. See, I would love that. I would love that. We did random doubles, so you brought 750 points, and like literally we pulled names out of a cup, and those were the teams, and that was really really fun.
And random team names.
And random team names. We had people like submit like really funny team names. I was on the team Preposterous Ostriches.
Yeah.
You got to name yourself because you had to play alone.
Yeah, I know. It's Plump and Lumpy.
Team Plump and Lumpy, but it's just you.
Yeah.
It's you and your models, though. You're
yeah,
a team.
And Nurgle's pretty plump and lumpy.
Nurgle is pretty plump and lumpy. Okay. So, I started to mix this color. I'm gonna actually mix it now. Okay, going in. I might have to add more jade, but you always gotta like try it first before you commit to doing a bunch. So I think that's gonna be good. We're gonna. I mean, I should wait till it dries, but I'm gonna finish this particular fold. But I think it's gonna be good. Oh, Mark of Corn. How excited are you for Angron on a scale of 1 to 11? Is that me or you? Oh, okay. Okay, I think that looks really good actually. It's like subtle. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on like the higher points. I was tossing around the idea of making this a little bit of a lighter color, but I think I like the darker teal because I think it allows the green underneath to kind of shine. I'm also using like this janky brush. I don't know why. I think we just have an understanding, this brush and I. So don't make fun of me. We understand each other. A scale of 1 to 8. Oh, I missed it! Ah, oh, missed opportunity. The fact Angron can solo a Stompa in a single turn is insane. It's not hard to like solo a Stompa in a single turn though. I'm just gonna put that out there. We'll have a moment of silence for the Stompa. I want one so bad, but I know that I'm like not gonna be able to take it. Someday I'll get one. I have like 2 battle wagons to paint and like a bunch of beast nagas and stuff, so I've got enough to like wait it out. Wait it out until the Stompa gets good. Don't laugh at me.
You'll be waiting a long
I
time.
know, I'll be old and grayer. Older and grayer by the time it's good. The fact Angron doesn't have a demon save is insane. And he's not technically a demon. He's like a superhuman who's been gifted abilities by the Chaos Gods. It's not technically a demon.
I think he will die a lot easier than people think.
You think he's gonna die easy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much high AP, high damage stuff that, yeah, you definitely have to be careful.
I'm gonna get him though.
Of course you're gonna get him. Of course. That's your aesthetic. You have to get it. I use garbage brushes all the time. I have a Winsor & Newton number 7 my boss gave me that I've never used. I use contrast so much that stuff is so hard on brushes. And I glaze a lot. Like, my paint is super watery, and that also ruins brushes. I was thinking about actually getting some Rosemary and Co. brushes because they make the Artist Opus ones, but they're a lot cheaper because they don't have a name brand on them. So I might do that. I might try and get some like mid-range kind of brushes. Maybe GW is just prepping to remember what the word invulnerable means. Maybe. 40 wounds from a single melee model is definitely not a common occurrence. From a single melee model. I mean, Magnus and Mortarion don't either. Exactly. I don't think that they're actually demons. Angron is gonna be tub thumping. He'll get knocked down, but he'll get up again. I mean, he's probably gonna have like a fight on death stratagem and stuff, I would imagine. I mean, that just sort of thematically makes sense. But I can't make any comments because I don't play 40k anymore. Just the idea of like 36 attacks hitting on 2s to me is like just ridiculous. Like the scale of 40k is just like, I've been out of the game for like 8 months and it just doesn't make any sense to me anymore. I'm just like, 36? What? Like, you just don't really see that from a single model in Age of Sigmar. Also, hitting on 2s is not something that often happens in Age of Sigmar. Unless you're spending command points. I might have to do like the tippy top highlights in here off stream, just because I don't want to like mess up the paint I've already done on the skin. As I mess up the paint on the skin. It's okay, I fixed it. See what I mean though? Have to do those off stream. My goodness. All of a sudden got kind of shaky. There we go. Fixed it! I don't know if you can start to see the depths. I tried really hard to fix the contrast on here, but you can kind of see that there's a little bit more depth in the cloak now. From Warcom today, for Angron himself, on the other hand, death is not assured. He can and likely will return from death if your army has performed sufficient slaughter using Reborn in Blood. See? I knew it. He seems really inexpensive, though. I mean, maybe he will die easy. Maybe that's why. But he does seem awfully inexpensive for what he's capable of. Also, it's gonna be, like, hard to screen him out and stuff, so... But I'm excited to see all the World Eaters fans get their boy. Especially with his 36 attacks versus infantry. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be real hard. I mean, throwing little greebly units at him is probably okay. I mean, it's gonna be difficult dealing with him, I think, but I'm gonna have to like actually sit down with my guard book and like not be intimidated by it. Like actually go through and come up with a list that's maybe not like powerful, but something that I would enjoy playing. I have a friend who's moved to town, and I think he really wants to play 40k, and I'm like, ugh. Could just bring my orcs. They're silly. Although I play Death Skulls, and they're not like the greatest. Holding my breath again. That's not good. Whew. Okay. Breathe. Potentially 39 if the World Eaters keep +1 on the charge. 400 grot list is looking tasty. I don't want to paint 400 grots. I've got 20. It's enough. It'll be such a nice change from watching Karn constantly stink up the battlefield. Hopefully Karn gets a bit of a glow up too. His tank Choppa attacks can do max 72 damage if you pull a Yahtzee roll. See, these are my grots. Like, why does this look exactly like the colors? This looks exactly like the colors of this model. And this does not look like the colors of this model. I do not understand. Why? Like, this is perfect. This little grot. It's just so bizarre. I know I keep harping on it, but like, I don't consider myself totally useless with a camera, so I think that's why it's so frustrating I can't get the white balance right just on this miniature. Grots rule! I can't wait to start putting the gold on this, so y'all can see, like, the wacky tacky goodness. So the reason why I'm also taking more time on this color is because I don't find I like as much the way that the Pro Acryl paints glaze. I don't know what it is. I just have a really hard time figuring out like how much like how much water to put in it. I always break the paint and stuff. So that's why I'm doing a little bit more like mixing to get the effect of a blend. That's why it's taking so long. But I think that when it's done, it'll be worth it. Ryan, what if I finish this and you don't like it? You're pretty sure it's not gonna happen? Okay. Here's hoping for the Grot Rebellion Army of Renown next season. Oh, that would be super cool. Maybe it's something to do with the red balance. It probably is, to be fair. But even like this is not, like this looks more blue. It's a little bit more green in real life. So I don't know. Maybe it has to do with like this really bright green that I put on her. It just maybe confuses the camera. Back in ye olden days when I played orcs, I wanted to run a Rebel Grot army, but that was like 3rd edition. There are a lot of people who still want to do that. The company that I work for, we make a lot of like goblin, what we call them goblin options to fulfill regular orcs like battle sheets or data sheets. So and they are super popular. So there's a lot of people who would, I think, be really happy for an army of renown. Are the greens on the keeper coming through the right color and it's just a purple that's the problem? The bright green is pretty close. It's extremely close. It's just the purple and a little bit of the teal that it's like, why? Why you like this? Also, it doesn't help that like my Logitech software that I have, it stopped supporting these cameras for some reason. So I don't know. They might just be old. It might just be time to upgrade. Upgrade. We'll see how much is in the Patreon fund once I get back from LVO. I'll use whatever's left to upgrade at least this camera. And maybe I'll make this one like the husband cam so you can see what he's working on.
Stormtroopers.
Working on stormtroopers.
Those ones I started last week.
The ones you started last week, you're finishing them now?
Well, no, I still got these 2 guys I have to reprime because
Oh,
messed them up
right.
so stupidly.
Right, you gotta reprime them.
I shouldn't say messed them up, I just didn't like how they look.
I thought they looked okay.
Well, the new ones are better.
Well, of course the new ones are better, but...
They are off-white though, so the purists might not like them. I don't care.
Yeah, we don't care if the lore purists like our...
Anyway.
That's right, we don't care if the lore purists like our painting or not. We're not painting for them. All that matters is that we like our stuff. That's all that matters. Could also be the color of your lighting. I know sometimes the photo cube I use for photographing minis at work can really mess with the colors. I actually have tried changing the color because I can do that. And it doesn't like, so that makes the purple look correct. However, it makes all the rest of the colors look incorrect. That one I guess looks closer, but it's still not correct. So we'll leave it on there because it's like a little bit closer. But yeah, but then like you sacrifice, like, so now this color doesn't look right. But I think it just has to be something between how these two colors interact. Upgrade! Exactly, Mark. Upgrade. Wow, yeah, huge difference. Yeah, but now like the blacks, you see the blacks actually look brown. So I normally don't like using this at all. Yeah, I know like a lot of people spend a lot of money on like really fancy lights and stuff, but I just have like such little space that I'm working with that this was like the best solution that I could find. Um, it's actually hilarious. It's a beauty ring lamp for like people who do makeup tutorials, but instead of it being like upright, it has a ball hinge. So I put it all the way down on the ball hinge, and then the camera is like right in the middle of the ring light. And that's why you can like change the temperature and stuff, because apparently that's a thing in like beauty content creators. So, um, and I think this thing cost me like $25. I'm all about that cheap and cheerful life. But the cool thing is that it just folds up really small. So when I'm not streaming, I actually throw it under my bed, and it's out of sight, out of mind. Paint under the light you can see best with. We get the gist. I mean, I can see. It's just I'm just annoyed. I'm just annoyed. And I mean it's could just be something to do with like the colors that I chose, because I think it's a cool effect, but it almost looks color shift. Just with the colors that I chose. It was a happy accident, and I love it. So that could just be it. It could be trying to find a balance between the kind of bluey purple undertone and then like the violet kind of highlights. It looks cool though. Take a picture later. I'm surprised dog hasn't bugged me yet. Busy sleeping? Oh, that's okay. Feel like I've actually made progress on this. Last week was a little hit or miss because of all the weird lifting that I had, but it's coming along nice now. I think when I'm done, you're not even going to be able to tell that there is that like paint peeling issue. But yeah, I've learned my lesson. I will not be mixing Liquitex inks with Army Painter washes. I learned my lesson.
Desk.
You should clean your desk so you stop dropping stuff off of it.
Yep.
Yeah?
Not today.
Maybe tomorrow. I replaced my fluorescent light bulbs with a 5000K LED lights so that I have neutral light warmth and haven't looked back. I have, so I don't use fluorescent. All my lights are LED. That's why I can change the temperature on this one. But my overhead light is also an LED bulb. which is like natural daylight, and I love it. It's like the best. It's like I think 3 bulbs are like $40 or something like that. But yeah, I don't think that I'll look back either. Like they're expensive, but they're worth it, and for how often this light is on, it's lasting quite a long time. Okay. I'm having a bit of an issue figuring out how the light's supposed to hit this, but I think that's gonna be good. I'm gonna let it dry and come back to it, I think. I'm gonna do the inside now. If people are over on Twitch, amazing. Thank you so much. Even though you're not watching this and you can't hear me. But that's what that notification is my Twitch. Apparently it's just taken off over on Twitch. I have a super bright white LED ring light with a magnifier. My eyes are starting to go south as I get older. I feel that. So the bright light and magnification are pretty valuable. I got LED bulbs for my regular lamps. It's great, right? It's like a really inexpensive way to upgrade your existing lights, and it really adds a lot to your painting because the colors just always look like the colors. So I think actually after this I'm just gonna do one more highlight. It'll essentially be like an edge highlight. That's what I'm gonna do, and then this cloak will be done. I think next week maybe what we'll do is we'll start blocking in all the gold details. I think that'll be really fun, and then you can start to see it come together. Then I'll be able to start to see what I want to do, because I still don't know what I want to do for like this collar thing. I don't know if I want to do it black or like kind of like, because I'm gonna have like black vinyl kind of like hosiery and stuff. So I don't know, like I might do it black. I don't want it gold. I might do it this like teal color. I haven't decided yet, but I think next week once I throw the gold on, I think it'll be easier to decide what to do with it. Oh. Here's the monster. Hey, buddy. Whoops. Hi. How you doing? Your eyes look way better. Hey. Hi. Okay. I'm gonna finish up this highlight color, so just gonna do a little bit on this side, and then I think we'll call the stream there, because somebody's gonna have to go for a walk. But yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna finish this cloak off stream just so we can move on and do something cool next week. But there's not really that much I'm gonna have to do. Like literally one more layer, and then we'll be done. I especially like that I can control them from my phone anywhere in the house. It's a big step up in my dad game. No excuse for lights being on with no one in the room. Amazing. Yeah, like when I was a kid, my dad used to like yell at me all the time for like leaving lights on and shit. And I was like, why is it such a big deal? And like now that I pay my electricity bill, I'm like, oh damn, dad was right. He was right to yell at me. I wish I enjoyed painting enough to get good at it like you are. Aw, well, I mean, I went through like a really long process of finding my style. I think it's really difficult to learn to love painting um if you feel like there's a right way to do it. And I felt for a really long time that there is like a right way, um and that I should be trying to be like a golden demon winning painter and all this stuff, and that I just wasn't happy doing that. So I did some soul searching, and then I decided like, I don't want to win awards. I would rather have like a unique style that I really like. I would rather people be able to like scroll their feeds and see a picture of my work and be like, oh, that's Tanya's painting. That's my ultimate goal. That's what I'm working towards, is like a really identifiable style. And it's been a lot more enjoyable for me since that happened. So, and like the way that I embrace finding my own style is just by playing with paint, trying stuff out, experimenting, trying new stuff. Cause you just never know what's gonna click for you, what you're gonna do and be like, that looks awesome. And I'm also like, I take a lot of inspiration from other things that I see. So, like, most of my stuff, most of my style, I'd say, is inspired by cel shaded art. Not so much with like the thick black outline, but like the way that they do highlights and stuff. Yeah. I think that that looks nice. It's nice and dark at the bottom, which is what I wanted. Because I basically want to like draw the attention up here. Like I don't really want too much going on down here. Although I am gonna do like hooves and this little thing gold. So we'll see what that looks like. But yeah, I really like how this cloak is turning out. I'm glad that I made it darker instead of lighter because I really wanted that green to be like the standout color. But I like where it's coming. I like where it's at. Next week we'll throw that gold on and see how it comes together. I'm also covered in paint. I'm like the messiest painter ever. Well, you think I'm made of jewels? Exactly. I hope that you use that with your children, Zan. My problem is largely twofold. ADHD means no attention span. Okay. And Tourette's means my hands shake like a virgin on prom night. Couple that with fading eyesight, and painting is a recipe for frustration. So one of my dear friends, his name is Dexter, and he has a neurological condition that makes it so that he shakes. And he's like, I mean, he's one of the most prolific painters in our sort of local area. Um, And he has like just a really good attitude about it, and he tries his best, and I just find him really inspiring. What's his Instagram? If you're on Instagram, like check it out. He changed it. I don't know what his handle is anymore. It's like Dexter Mini Painter or something.
Something like that.
Mini Painter Dexter, all one word. Let's see if I can get this to load. I mean, we won't judge him for being an Ultramarines fan, but like, y'all, I'll see if I can get this without the ring light in the way. Like, he free-handed! Look at the freehand! Y'all. And like, you know, maybe he's like me. Maybe it's not gonna be... That looks like a spam call. Right? Like, maybe it's like me. It's not gonna be like a golden demon winning thing, but like, for the amount that he shakes, it looks awesome. It's so funny when you play with him too. The first time, like he explains to you, he's like, like, I'm not gonna touch your models because I shake real bad. But yeah, I think that if you, I think like the trick to it is like acceptance. Like acceptance of where you are, acceptance of your like personal limitations, and then sort of like embrace it, almost accept it, and then incorporate it into your style. That's, I think, like, I think that's like the key to happiness in painting, is to like for me, I need to accept that I'm not gonna spend like 1,000 hours on a model because I want to play. Like, I want to get my stuff painted so it's playable. And I had to accept that, so, and I have, and it's a lot more enjoyable. You think I'm made of X? Yeah. I will judge him. You're not the boss of me. So you are. I'm still judging those Smurfs all the same. I mean, I'm judging them. I judge them because I think they're painted real nice, but also like they're Ultramarines. So, although yeah, you play Ultramarines too.
I haven't in years, but that's the first army I completed.
Yeah, your first completed army. Yeah. I've kind of come to accept that I have a relatively hard cap on my abilities, trying to force myself to paint more, and as I do, I'm starting to hate it a little less. Honestly, like, especially with the ADHD thing, like, even if you just paint like 5 or 10 minutes at a time, it's like 5 or 10 minutes that you're closer to your goal. Now that is a purple. Yeah, like, it's a little closer. It's a little closer. Alright. Well, that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm actually really happy with the progress that we made on the cloak thing. I'm going to finish it off stream this week, and then we'll move on. We'll block out the gold next week, which I think will look amazing. You'll start to see it all come together. And yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it. If anybody has any questions or anything, you know, like, best way to get at me is through the Patreon Discord. You can send me messages other places, but I'm really bad at checking them. But you can always reach out. And what else? This week we have Scotty D49 as our guest on Just But Paint On It on Friday. I'm going to be doing, what did I say? I think I said I'm doing light cover for Warhammer 40k Explain this week. It's either heavy or light. I can't remember. I think it's light. So that'll be out on Wednesday. And that's that. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful week. And until next time, be nice and roll dice. Bye, everybody.